My name's Judy Townsley. I'm the administrator at the Center for Spine Surgery in Wilmington, Delaware. We have been around since we did our first case in August of 2023. This was a previous hospital-owned ASC that turned into a private-owned, for-profit ASC. It's a combination of 8 physician owners in combination with Christiana Care. Each owns certain parts, a percentage of the center. We are primarily all spine. So we're a single specialty spine with just a tad little bit of some pain cases, but the majority of our cases are spine. We have done over 800 cases as of this point right now. So we've done about 850 cases as of today. We have been using HST since the inception of the center. So we started our very first case. We did not use eChart during the first 5 weeks, but we were using case coordination and also using practice management for our billing right from the inception. And then probably in September, we went right to using all 3 products and to have a totally electronic chart. So I personally came from the hospital side, the not-for-profit hospital side of the world, and had multiple, different EMRs. So when we came here, we were given, we worked with a consultant who actually said, there's not that many products out there for ASCs. You could use this. And we started that with presentations from different vendors. And when we got through that, it appeared that HST was a more robust system to use. So that's how we landed with HST. Well, for me, I didn't really feel the wow in the beginning. Just because all the products somewhat seemed the same. But as you get more into your business model, you realize that having an EMR that can connect your payments with your charting, with your scheduling, that's the wow moment. I basically didn't realize it at first when we were going through that. But as you move through the process, you're like, oh my goodness, that's really what makes the difference, is the combination of all of the products to help you get to the end product. So the board was involved, and also the board of the Center for Spine Surgery was involved, along with me eventually as the administrator, and along with our consultants that we were working with. And it just seemed that the track record for HST out in the ASC community was stronger, especially in regards to payment and payment structure for ASCs. I will begin with the fact that we are totally electronic. And what we've done is we have taken any paper out of the equation. And it didn't happen at first, but this has evolved as we've learned the product. So day to day is we have all of our cases are posted from the office through case coordination. And we have one of our employees who does a wonderful job. She manages that. What we've also done is included all of our staff and vendors so that they can see as the cases are posted. So we find it in some ways a great safety thing, because if somebody makes a mistake and posts a patient with an incorrect vendor, since we're such a single specialty with just a small 8 to 12 doctors, it really is important to have all the safety checks in place with our vendors and everyone to make sure that we're getting the correct information. And then once that person is posted, we begin the process of our perioperative evaluation and preparation team, our PEP nurses. then either reach out to the patient based on their patient engagement survey that they've done, or if they have not done it, we do reach out to them ourselves to get that information. Along with the fact that we use the texting capabilities to text the patient about their surgery, upcoming surgery, and we also text them about their patient engagement survey that will be coming their way. And then we have a group in our business office that then begins using practice management to begin the insurance verification. And along with the fact that our clinical team is then making sure that the correct preference card is associated with the case and the correct chart is associated with the case so that we can have everything in place for our patient. And then once that's all done and everything's all approved, on the day of surgery, or actually the day before surgery, our pre-op nurses who are going to care for the patients in the morning. Well, let me step back because the other thing that we do is we take the documents that come into case coordination, and what we do is we put them into our document central, and then they flow over to eChart. So didn't want to forget that part because that's really important, because our nurses that are caring for the patients on the day of surgery actually use eChart and the documents that are flowing in there so that they can prepare for the patients the next day also. So we have no paper. Our charts on the morning of surgery are a demographic, just because some of our physicians' offices still want a demographic sheet. Sometimes our consents are paper just because they come from the office with the consent already signed, and wristbands. That's basically the only kind of paper that we have. So on the morning of surgery, all of our team, our anesthesiologists, our nurses, our OR team, our pre-op team, our post-op team, we are completely electronic with our documentation. In complete fairness, there is only one document that we still use as paper, and then we scan it into the chart, is we do a neuro assessment, and that's on our to-do list to try to make it so that it's easily replicated in the electronic form. But so we've pretty much taken anything that we've wanted to use and tried to design our own forms with that so that they become electronic. Also, none of our physicians leave without dictating their op note. We don't use a brief op note here because we don't allow them to go without doing the op note. And then we do our post-op phone call the next day with that. So everything's done that way. If there's one other thing that we do with our chart is, for people that are out there, they know that we have implant records, and it's very important to have the implant record for the patient. When we get done, we scan that implant record into Document Central and then load it into eChart as a patient document. So when we go back, and if we're ever looking for anything, we can go back to that patient and find that document in the patient's chart. So it's, for us, when we put the bow on the package, and then even when we go back and, our whole team is like, they try to get, you can't close a chart unless you're at 100%. So they make it a little game about that. And actually some of our physicians do too. They'll like, I can only get to 96%. How do I get to 100%? So we've tried to use all the tricks of HST to try to make it a completely electronic record. So one of the things, so I think what's so great about HST is the fact that coming from the hospital world, where if you wanted to run a report on cost per case, or if you wanted to run a report on clinical outcomes or case volumes or things like that, you had to, go get somebody to do a report writer and get that all done. Whereas as far as outcomes for me, are me to be able to sit down and develop a report and be able to send it to any of our physicians, any of our staff, just by sitting down with doing my report. One of the things that we did last week was we are always interested in our physician case times and how long it takes them from incision to closure and how long it takes them from the time they go in the room to out of the room. So I was able to sit down, and within 30 minutes, I had a whole report with all of that on it, along with their costing and discharge times and things like that. So I think so that's great for us, is to be able to be transparent about our money per se, our case volumes per se, and also the ability to just go in there and look at, we also document if there are any untoward events in the practice management, in the documentation also. So for us, if you're looking for an outcome, for us is to be totally electronic was never where I thought I'd be, right? Because it's so, but I think the lot more you get to know the product, the more you realize that that's really can be achieved, and it can be achieved relatively easily, especially if you have a really strong team that's willing to help get you to that point. But future-wise, I think I look at my relationship, or our relationship with HST, as ever growing, and I'm hoping that HST, as they continue to grow, will help to grow us. So right about now, it's mainly just refining what we have, and then possibly moving to the financial, enhancing the financial piece. Absolutely, I would recommend HST, and I'm one of these people who was like, this. At first, I was like, I don't know about that. But now, once it all works together, you've got yourself a convert here. Like, I see the beauty of electronic documentation and how you can manage the patient that way, and how you can actually manage your business having HST. So being a convert, being the convert that I am, I would certainly recommend HST, because I've looked at others along the way, and had conversations with colleagues of mine that are in the area who really feel that the practice management piece of insurance verification and all the billing and all the charging that occurs, that all is probably the most robust system around. So we will not be looking for any other system. Our goal here is to enhance what we have with HST.